This is the Tigers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Ooh, how about it? How about it? Another series opening victory for the Detroit Tigers over the Milwaukee Brewers. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers Postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma, fired up as always to be with you. And where do we even begin with this one? Well, how about Tarik Skubal, 7 scoreless? And oh yeah, the early offense was alive and well once again. Kerry Carpenter's going yard. And of course, I'll have my player of the game, our moment of the game, and our turning point. That's all coming up next on a live Locked On Tigers Postcast. But don't forget, this is your Tigers post-game destination, free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on YouTube. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to give a shout out to everybody from Locked On Tigers joining us on the Locked On Tigers Postcast, your Tigers post-game destination after the final out. Shout out to Scott Bentley on the Locked On Tigers. Appreciate him joining us the other day for a little post-game collaboration. Always a joy and a treat to spend a little time with Scott. And hey, the Tigers continue to roll. Let's get going with the way the Tigers jump on teams early. The early offense is very, very representative of what this team and who this team is. And that's now 5 straight series in which the Tigers have began the series with a victory. And it's another example of taking control of a game early. You've got your Cy Young award-winning pitcher on the mound. You give him a little run support early, and away you go. It's a very simple recipe, a very simple formula, and the Tigers have been able to replicate that and follow the blueprint, follow the script, and it's yielded victories in the series opener in 5 of the first 6 series to begin the season. So things you love about the Detroit Tigers were once again on full display. As always, don't forget, it's a collaborative environment here in the Locked On Tigers Postcast. So we're taking your comments as well. Make sure you get in that comment section. And I would be remiss. Listen, it's a happy day. It's a happy night. It's a victorious Locked On Tigers Postcast. Pour one out if that's your thing. I've got water here, but got a couple more shows to do yet tonight, but I will be pouring one out at some point, even though it is a Monday. But point being, the only thing that could ruin tonight was Kenta Maeda at the end of the game. My goodness, it's the most expensive victory cigar in the world. I love going back and forth with my guy Adam on Twitter. Anytime Kenta Maeda's in the ball game, he hits me up and says, Meatball Maeda's in the game, and it just drives me bonkers. Why is this individual still on the big league roster? I understand the contract. Can we just write it, him and Javi, just write it off as a loss and be done with it? It is a failed contract, a failed experiment. He can't pitch in the bigs anymore, and he cost the Tigers a shutout. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but if anybody else was pitching and the shutout is preserved, the Tigers are looking at shutout victories in 3 of the last 6 games. That's pretty impressive stuff. But no, Kenta Maeda had to ruin it there. That being said, other things to get to. I was able to catch some of the last Locked On Tigers episode talking about Riley Green's struggles. He was not in the lineup tonight. Instead, it was Justin Henry Malloy leading off. You had Gleyber Torres in there. And how about Andy Ibanez just continuing to rake against lefties? He has that double that gets it going in the first inning. And then, Dillon Dingler, he continues to hit well also with the RBI double, and boom, before you know it, I sound like John Madden. Boom, boom, boom. It's 2-0 Tigers. Now, that being said, go right back to the second inning, and this team continues to pour it on. You get the Justin Henry Malloy single that scores Javi Baez, and then the Gleyber Torres ground out that allows Zach McKinstry to score. And before you know it, 4-0. You give Tarik Skubal a 4-0 lead, and you're going to win a lot of ball games. There's no doubt about that. Everybody getting in the comments, which I appreciate. Gareth Riding says another Cy Young performance from Skubal. Absolutely. We're going to talk about that. Of course, we'll break all that down. I love the emotion. Even in a 9-0 game, you got Tarik Skubal screaming and fist bumping. That's great stuff there. Also, shout out to anybody that was at the game in Milwaukee tonight. Looked like a ton of Tiger fans there. I know my grandparents were there, and there was a lot of the navy and orange representing the Old English D and the Detroit Tigers things that you love to see. Zing Dad is up next. Skubal dominance. This team is picking up right where they left off from last year. Demetrius McNeil, big play was the big strikeout with the bases loaded to get the Brewers off the scoreboard. Yes, that elicited the emotion from Tarik Skubal, which if you're like me, that just gets you fired up, even in a regular season game in April on a Monday night, and the Tigers were up 9-0 or whatever it was. That gets me going. The dude says, of course, Maeda blows the shutout, throwing 84 miles per hour. Exactly, man. It was brutal. It's tough to watch. I've got all my game story written. I've got the thumbnail made about a shutout. I'm talking about 3 shutouts in 6 games. And then you get Kenta Maeda just serving up meatballs. Also should be noted, Tyler Alexander did not fool a lot of the Detroit Tigers hitters, because not only were they on it early, but they were making such solid contact. A couple of guys, they talked about this on the broadcast. I know Chris McCoskey tweeted out, but multiple hits over 100-mile-per-hour exit velos early in that game. Here's Johnny says, who are these 25 Tigers? I know it's early, but I think this is who the 25 Tigers are. I mean, make no mistake about it. I believe one of the comments talked about carrying the momentum from last year, the way last year ended into this season, and you're certainly seeing that. Braylon Dennis said, this is what I wanted from the Tigers last year, hitting and scoring runs. Yeah, it's a good combination. I mean, everybody, we can all agree when you're recapping a 9-1 victory that should have been 9-0 victory. You got your Cy Young award-winning pitcher going 7 scoreless. You got Kerry Carpenter hitting his 5th home run early in the season. You got Andy Ibanez raking, Dillon Dingler raking. Like it's a happy post-game show. The only thing there is to complain about is Kenta Maeda. All right, other comments to get into. You got Voiding says that's the only good thing about him, though. Definitely not high leverage stuff. Oh, about eating up innings for Kenta Maeda. There you go. IT Hips says this team has so much potential and they don't even have Meadows and Vierling on the line. Gleyber Torres looks like he is going to be a great pickup. Yeah, I completely agree. You get Parker Meadows, especially Matt Vierling, those two, and Wenzel Perez, another one. You get those guys healthy and you feel really, really good about what this lineup can be and where this lineup can take you. Now, plenty more to recap. We haven't even gotten into Tarik Skubal because I've just been so excited talking about the Detroit Tigers. And that reminds me that I haven't gotten to our Talking About segment. We do it now.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I think if you think of this game from a MLB league-wide perspective, people are going to look at the box score and go, Tarik Skubal, 7 innings scoreless. Is he back? And that's my big takeaway tonight, is that Tarik Skubal is back. And not that he was ever you worried about the performance or anything in those first 2 starts. He had a couple of starts in which one pitch cost him. And that being said, he is every bit the caliber pitcher that we knew he was, and why he won the Cy Young last year. So, it's easy for us in the day-to-day of the Detroit Tigers. We watch every day, talk about him every day, have shows every day about him. But from a MLB perspective, you're just checking the box score, seeing, okay, how are those Tigers doing? Well, they won again, and Tarik Skubal led them to victory. That becomes part of the identity of this team and the fabric of which this Detroit Tigers team can be successful on. And that being said, listen, I don't want to take anything away from the other parts of the rotation. I believe they're also very effective. We'll get a chance to see Jack Flaherty tomorrow, and he's important to this Detroit Tigers lineup or pitching staff. And same with Reese Olson, and the list goes on. And Casey Mize, and so on and so forth. And obviously, every starter involved with the Detroit Tigers has to give their team a chance to win, and it helps when you get the run support like you did tonight. All right, don't go anywhere. We're going to keep the lights on like we do at Locked On and tell you all about everything in store for tomorrow. And of course, I'll have my turning point and our player of the game. That's up next. Be thinking of yours, because I want to know. Let me know in the comments. Back in a moment on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. This episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. And if you're like me and you're looking for that snack that's both delicious and nutritious, well, guess what? You can crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving, get this, has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats. Yeah, the good kind of fats that help keep you feeling fuller longer. Boy, is that a mouthful. To help keep you feeling fuller longer. There we go. Say that 10 times fast. I love the no-shell variety when I'm on the go. You've had a busy day. You just need to get that high quality protein quickly. That's the grab and go snack for me on busy days. Now, when I'm sitting down watching a ball game and I got 9 innings to kill, yeah, crack open those shells. I love fighting for that pistachio a little bit more. And the cracking open the shells is oh so satisfying as well. It's a satisfying crack. You open the shell and you know you're getting that quality protein as well. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com. That's wonderfulpistachios.com. Wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Today's episode is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Have you ever looked at your checking account and thought, where did all my money go? It's not a good feeling. And you start to wonder, what could I have spent all my money on? Maybe it was dining, maybe online shopping, entertainment. It all adds up and it's easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. No, it's much more. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So stop just managing your money and start building wealth. That's right. It's all about building wealth. The all-in-one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track your spending, and even plan long-term goals. There's surprising insights. You realize just how much you might be spending on certain items that you could easily cut out, things like food delivery, that sort of thing, and budget smarter to save more. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB, that's LOCKEDONMLB, at monarchmoney.com, monarchmoney.com, for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB. Locked On MLB for half off your first year. Plenty more to get to on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. We'll do it live. That's the beauty of the live Locked On Tigers postcast on a Monday night, where the Tigers grab their series opening win in the 5th consecutive series, 5 out of 6. How about that? 9-1 the final in this one. We'll run through the box score real quick, because we talked about the early offense, the 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second, 4 more in the 4th inning. And that 4th inning, this Tigers team just exploded. You got Torres with the single that scored Javi Baez. And Gleyber Torres deserves a lot of credit in this one as well. Of all the people I've ran through as far as their stats, you got Gleyber Torres sticking with 3 RBI and the 2 runs scored. So credit to Gleyber Torres. And you know what? This is a night where Spencer Torkelson might have an off night, and the rest of the teammates pick him up, which you like to see. No 0 for 4 on the day for Spencer Torkelson. Did have the 1 RBI though. Dillon Dingler with the RBI double, and then Kerry Carpenter, his 5th home run of the season. Things you love to see. The Kerry bomb continues. All right. Also in that 4th inning, I mentioned Torkelson didn't have a hit, but he did have that sac fly, and then the Carpenter home run for the cherry on top, the solo blast, his 5th of the year. Now, our player of the game, let's get into it.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
It's Tarik Skubal. When he took the ball, the Brewers stood no chance, and he continues to show what a dominant horse that you can turn the ball in hand to. Looks like 7 innings, 4 hits, and no runs, 9 strikeouts. He did not walk a batter. The first pitch strikes were there. You look at the way he was attacking hitters for Skubal. Want to make sure I have this correct. 16 first pitch strikes out of 25. The one strikeout he had with the fastball on the outside part of the plate, forget who was hitting for the Brewers, but that just, and Benetti and Andy Dirks talked about it, just shows that there's very few hitters in Major League Baseball that can do anything with that pitch. The changeup was working. It was all working, and Skubal continues to do what Skubal does. All right, our turning point. Let's get into it.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I don't want to sound repetitive, but honestly, you give Tarik Skubal a 2-0 lead, a 4-0 lead, and you're going to win a lot of games. So this game turned early, and it was in favor of the Tigers. And like I said, the recipe was simple. The game plan was simple. The formula was executed. And before you know it, it's 9-0 Tigers. And you stick the victory cigar in there, Kenta Maeda, and he gives up the shutout, and you cruise to a 9-1 win. Pretty simple. Let's enjoy it and get ready for the next game. Tigers will take on the Milwaukee Brewers tomorrow in game 2 of the series. You got Jack Flaherty going for the Detroit Tigers, and then that game, first pitch at 7:40 Eastern, and for the Brewers, it's Quinn Preister, the right-hander. So Tigers, Brewers tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Of course, we'll have a live Locked On Tigers postcast after that. And any final thoughts before we go? Want to make sure we get as many comments on here as we can. Zingdead says Tigers now the best record in the AL. You gotta love it. Indeed, indeed. And you just, I got to read this comment. There's no doubt. Only baseball team in Michigan playing better than the Tigers are your Timberwolves. Just got done with a 20-game win streak. Indeed, they did, Benji. How about that? I think a young fella named Tyler threw a no-hitter over the weekend. Nothing gets me more fired up than talking a little Northwood Timberwolves. You see, I got the Northwood football helmets there in the background if you're watching on YouTube. My proud alma mater, the Northwood Timberwolves for undergrad, Northwestern for grad school. I got to make sure I say that right. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead. But no, Brad Baldwin, what a job he's doing for the Northwood Timberwolves. 20-game win streak. Absolutely insanity. All right. Great stuff there. Appreciate everybody tuning in. It's always a pleasure to be on the air. If you missed anything, go ahead and check us out on the audio version only, which is available wherever you get your podcast, and of course on YouTube, all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. If you need something to do later tonight, you can catch me on the Locked On MLB Game Night Show. That kicks off right after the final out is made in the last game. So I think there's some West Coast games that I got to stay up for tonight. So that will be a lot of fun. Yes, fun. All right. We will see you next time on Live Locked On Tigers postcast. Tigers win this one 9-1. And oh yeah, the Tigers are 10-6 and in first place in the AL Central. Talk to you tomorrow.